Charles de Montesquieu, who had an enormous impact on the framers of the Constitution, was the most widely read philosopher during the constitutional period. Remember, during the pre-constitutional revolutionary period, it was John Locke. Montesquieu said there are two sorts of tyranny. I'm quoting him. A real one, which consists in the violence of the government, and one of opinion, which is felt when those who govern establish things that run counter to a nation's way of thinking. I'm quoting him. That is crucial. It's the second sort of tyranny he's talking about. One of opinion, I'm quoting, which is felt when those who govern establish things that run counter to a nation's way of thinking, quote unquote, like Obamacare. He went on. The legislator is to follow the spirit of the nation, when doing so is not contrary to the principles of the government. For we do nothing better than what we do freely in following our national genius. So the legislator, or members of Congress, this is me now, are not to impose their will on us. They're to try to follow the spirit of the nation. Again, this Obamacare comes to mind, doesn't it? Montesquieu went on. He said, when one wants to change the mores and manners of a nation, one must not change them by laws, as this would appear to be too tyrannical. It would be better to change them by other mores and other manners. You see? He said, nature repairs everything. May we be left as we are. Our discretions, joined to our harmlessness, make unsuitable such laws that would curb our social humor. What he's saying there is, just because you elect people to office, they are not empowered to destroy the spirit of a nation, or a people for that matter, and to destroy the society, the spirit of the society, by imposing their will and their opinions on the rest of us. That's exactly what's happened with Obamacare. It happened when it passed, and it's happening now with its implementation, isn't it? Now, that's the spirit of the people. But I want to emphasize another point. And that's this notion of federalism and how crucial it was, crucial to our founding. This is me in Ameritopia. Despite, by the way, the Montesquieu quote I just is also in Ameritopia. Despite Madison's assurances, during the state ratification debates, in other words, the Constitution passes, it's sent to the states for ratification. Despite Madison's assurances, during the state ratification debates, opponents of the Constitution, known as the Anti-Federalists, were not satisfied that, among other things, the states were protected from an overly powerful federal government. They argued that the conditions for despotism had not been sufficiently ameliorated by the enumeration of powers in distinct federal branches. In other words, they not only divided our federal government into three branches, they didn't give those branches plenary power or open-ended power. They gave them enumerated, specific powers. Congress, you have this authority, boom, 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 boom. Executive, this authority, boom, boom, boom. Judiciary, even less so. So the Anti-Federalists argued that the conditions for despotism had not been sufficiently ameliorated. Moreover, given the territorial expanse and diversity of the country, it was a big country, they insisted that the federal government would grow into a national government and suppress the states, making them impotent. Now, proponents of the Constitution, known as the Federalists, they countered that the size and diversity of the country would ensure that the federal government was less able to empower itself beyond the authority granted it by the Constitution, and that state authority was in fact respected and protected. Here's the crucial point. Both sides, Federalists and Anti-Federalists, both sides insisted they were preserving state sovereignty, although they disagreed on the methods. there was consensus against an all-powerful or even overly powerful central government. And Montesquieu was invoked repeatedly in the debate by the Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Okay? Just stick with me on this, because I'm making what I think is a crucial emphasis, a crucial point. Now, the Anti-Federalists pointed out that explicit recognition of state authority provided in the Articles of Confederation was missing in this new Constitution. The new Constitution, consistently with the plan of consolidation, wrote one Anti-Federalist, contains no reservation of the rights and privileges of the state governments, which was made in the Confederation of the year 1778 by the Article 2, meaning the Articles of Confederation, Article 2. And it said that each state retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence, and every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this Confederation expressly delegated to the United States and Congress assembled. Mark, where are you going with this? Stay with me. It matters today. Sounding very much like Montesquieu, an anti-federalist writing under the alias of Cato, and believed to be George Clinton of New York. He noted the recital or premises on which this new form of government is erected declares a consolidation or union of all the 13 parts or states into one great whole, under the form of the United States for all the various and important purposes therein set forth. But whoever seriously considers the immense extent of territory comprehended within the limits of the United States, together with the variety of climates, productions, and commerce, the difference of the extent and number of inhabitants and all, and he goes on, will receive it as an intuitive truth that a consolidated republican form of government therein can never form a perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to you and your posterity. For to these objects it must be directed. This unkindred legislature, therefore, composed of interests opposite and dissimilar in their nature, will in its exercise emphatically be like a house divided against itself. Interesting, these arguments. Now, why did I read that to you? Because what I get out of this is that consolidation of power in a central government creates hostility, balkanizes a nation, divides a nation, ultimately serves to break up a nation. And yet diversity, that is, the different states and the communities within the states, under a constitution that recognizes their sovereignty, promotes tranquility and harmony and peace within a nation. What does Obamacare create? I've got more to say about this as soon as we return.
Mark Levin.